Christian conservative Republicans are no different than liberal, communist, socialist Democrats. They're no different than them. Zero, they're the same. Except that one side of the road has taken different views than the other side of the road. And then they come together in the middle of the road and they're fighting because they both think they're right and they fight. And then when the fight is done with whatever side, they go back to their side of the road. Both sides turn on each other and fight because you may disagree with one thing or agree, and they may agree, and they'll form an army and turn on each other, and they fight. The Christians, conservative, Republicans, the representatives and the voters are as bad as the Democrats. Representative and voter Democrats. They're no different. They all fight. And they all agree until they don't agree. You say or do one thing that goes against their idea of what is right, because it's just an idea. Human beings don't know. We don't know what's right or wrong. And that's why we play God, because we've been taught what's right and wrong. And it's based on what you've been told is right. And you hang on to that, and then you fight anyone that disagrees. And you're wrong. Because if you truly knew right, you would not be fighting. If you truly knew what was right, you would not be fighting. You would lay your weapon down. Christ said, lay your weapon down. I'll fight your battle for you. But they're no different. They turn on each other when they can't get to the other people. And it's the darndest thing I ever seen, but it's in the air, it's everywhere. But I got proof. Families turn on each other and fight, and they build an army, and they try to destroy you, your own family, your own mama. How many times have you heard people say, I went to mama, and I wanted to forgive her, and I told them sorry for resenting her? Excuse me. That I realized you can't help yourself, mama. And mama get ticked. And mama go to the weaker brothers and sisters, cousins, uncles, or somebody, and she build an army against you. And they join her army. And you haven't done anything to them. But they join mama army and go after you. Well, the Christians and conservatives do it to each other too. And the Democrats do it to each other too. They have no love. There is no love in human nature. You're not going to find anything at any point, any good in human nature. You just find thrills. You go thrills, but nothing good. And I have this story. What really made me focus on it, I counsel all the time with men and women around the world, family and individual counsel, and they all have the same problem. No love. And they fight. And they turn on each other. And they not only do they turn, they try to destroy each other. They don't just say, you know what, all right, we don't agree, that's fine. It doesn't work that way. And then your politicians, same thing. There's this female by the name of Marjorie Taylor. Her last name is Greene. Marjorie Greene, middle name Taylor. And this female, at one point, seemed so conservative and Christian and holier than thou. I spoke in a conference down in Florida with the mega group. What's that organization? AFPAC, where Christ is King. And Marjorie was there, and they loved her. Not everybody. There were some people in the crowd that didn't like her. We were sitting at a table with some people that did not like Marjorie Greene. I was like, what the? And I didn't know her that well, so I didn't understand it. But anyway, Marjorie, that's her name? Taylor Greene, at that time, was a conservative from Georgia. Georgia on my mind, as she was a Republican, and she appeared to be a strong Republican. And then the Great White Hope comes along, and Marjorie Taylor Greene loved Donald Trump. Really, she was one of the leading Republicans in supporting and loving Donald Trump, because she was a Christian, and she was conservative, and she loved Donald Trump. And then, according to the report, I wasn't there, I'm just saying what the report said, something happened, and she disagreed with the Great White Hope, Donald Trump, and she became his enemy. And not only did she become she didn't say, well, I just disagree, but I like the work you're doing. You're still making America great. But I just disagree with this. We're still tight. I still support you. She didn't say that. Marjorie Greene crossed the enemy line and went over there and joined forces with the enemy of Trump and tried to destroy him. She tried to destroy him. CBS News. President Donald Trump said he would no longer support one-time close ally and Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene amidst the ongoing fallout over the Epstein files. Why is this from CBS News?
Drika, good evening to you. This weekend, President Trump says he will no longer support Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene amid the ongoing fallout over the Epstein files.
On Saturday, President Trump blasted his one-time staunch MAGA ally, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her Marjorie Traitor Greene in a Truth Social post one day after referring to her as a ranting lunatic in another. On Air Force One, the president even suggested he'd be open to backing a challenger to her seat in Congress.
I'm no longer much of a fan.
Greene punching back today in a series of social media posts saying, quote, I never thought that fighting to release the Epstein files, defending women who were victims of rape, and fighting to expose the web of rich, powerful elites would have caused this. But here we are. The firebrand conservative has been a steadfast supporter of the president, often appearing by his side at campaign events.
We're going to re-elect our favorite president, the greatest president in United States history, Donald J. Trump.
The president's turn against one of his fiercest supporters takes place ahead of an upcoming House vote compelling the release of more Epstein files.
Amazing, huh? She never loved Donald Trump. It was all pretense. And it's amazing to see it. So she didn't just, I'm fine with disagreement. Okay, disagree. But why do you have to try to destroy a person? And I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised now, but I didn't really know Marjorie Greene. Again, I was speaking at Nick Fonte. That's his name, right? Nick Fonte's conference.
Correct.
Down in Florida. And she was there, one of the speakers. And it was Christ is King. And she was smiling and agreeing. I never imagined that she would one day turn against Donald Trump. Meaning, fine disagreement, right? But she crossed the enemy line. It reminded me of, I've heard stories of military people who goes over and get information about the enemy. They cross over to the enemy territory to get information for, let's say, America, right? And they're fighting their enemies. And then while they're over there, they are seduced by the enemy with money and promises and ego stroking and stuff like that. And they turn on their own country. And they go and tell the enemy the secrets of the country so that in hope that the enemy can destroy the country. It's the same spirit in every human being until you overcome it. When Christ said, and I repeat, an angry/resentful person, because resentment is anger, cannot be trusted. An angry person cannot be trusted. I don't care who it is or what position you're supposed to be holding in life. It's so true. CBS News, February 28, 2022. She first told CBS News that she didn't know who the organizers of the event were and their views. When she spoke there, and I was there, so this ain't no hearsay. You got rounds of applause, and she spoke well about Nick Fonte. Loved him. And now, like, who? This is in every human being. There is no love. CNN, in an exclusive interview with CNN, a female by the name of Dana Bash on the State of the Union on Sunday, Greene said she worried Trump rhetoric toward her could lead to violence against her. Watch this.
I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected. And I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country. and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
Yeah, right. Here we go with the victim mentality. She's a victim now, a victim. I thought Marjorie Greene Taylor, whatever her name is, was already getting threats from the other side. If I remember correct, I'm black and slow, so I may not be remembering right. But there was a report that says that people were calling and saying that somebody was breaking in her house or she was doing something, and the police and people would show up at her house, and it wasn't happening. Something like that. Did she already say she was being attacked by the left? So how come she had, now that Trump said, well, you said allegedly she gonna be attacked. She ain't scared. I was just so scared. When she's crying, she's lying. How can you cross enemy territory? CNN is not a fan of Trump, and she knows that. She absolutely knows it. And that looked like I may be wrong. I'm just saying. But that looked like crossing the enemy territory. Every time someone turns against you, don't they go to your enemies? They go to your enemies first. There's no love in human beings. And they say, not all, say that they believe in God. How can you believe in a God or even the Son of God who is all love, nothing but love all the time, and never mind what happened through you? They still love you, Christ and his Father still love you. How can you be of love and then you can do this? How is that possible? How can you be of love and get mad at someone because they don't agree with you or they believe differently than you do? Well, that's not love. The great white hope, Donald Trump, I call him Donald Trump. Some people call him amazing. What matter of man is this: the wind and the sea obeys him. Some people call him king, and they rally around the world worshiping the king. Some people call him daddy. I call him the great white hope. He said, according to this report, he doesn't believe her life, referring to Marjorie. He doesn't believe her life is in danger. Watch this from C-SPAN.
Her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric?
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. What about you?
Trader Greene, he said. It sounds like that. He's like, who? Oh, God. That is amazing. Marjorie Trader Greene, he said. Greene said she stand with the rape victim, meaning the accusers. I've told you 1,000 times, conservative, and not all, conservative Christian women are no different than liberal, democratic, non-Christian women. They don't stand with men. They don't. They'll become a victim just like that. A conservative Christian woman will take you to court and take your children away from you men as quickly or maybe quicker than a non-Christian conservative woman. Really, they don't have love. Be not deceived. A conservative Christian woman pretend to be upset that men play in women's sports, but not upset that women play in men's sports. Oh, that's fine. That's different. They say human beings do not have love. And as soon as you overcome the world, you as an individual, adult, men and women, you'll see they don't have love, but you won't judge them. You won't be mad. You won't believe I tried to love that person. I thought they loved me, and they don't. So this Greene says she stands with rape victims and says rich people shouldn't be protected if they do wrong. Watch this from CNN.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations, and I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files, and I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong.
She stand with the accusers. Isn't that amazing? She stand with the accusers. I don't know if it's true or not, but she stand with the accusers. And I remember years ago they started saying, we should take women at their word. And don't ask what you had to do with it. They said, we should believe women. Not knowing or realizing that Satan is the God of the, small g, God of the woman. And that she would do anything she could to destroy you, even if it means destroying your children. So Marjorie stand with the accusers. It doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong. She stand with the accusers. That is in every nature, every woman's nature, until they start to truly overcome. And I say that because I work with women who are overcoming all that. And they are returning to the Father. They don't just take another woman's word just because she's a female. They don't believe every woman. I hear it all the time now. I don't believe every woman because they know how their own nature was. Marjorie Greene Taylor is an example of every Christian conservative woman, except for those who are now working on themselves.